Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session of reclaiming your power and freedom and your sovereign space of being fully you. This session is dedicated to election week. So, here in the United States, 2024, we as a nation, the majority vote was for Donald Trump. And so now we have Trump coming into office as president. And so now what? Now what? As a bringer of light, as a lover of life, what does this mean for those of us who seek to have solutions for problems that are front and center, keeping human rights as a top priority, as well as social programs that are in place to make sure that everyone has what they need, that Social Security keeps running, disability keeps running, veterans benefits keep running, and that those are not slashed in any way. So I know that's a concern on a lot of people's minds, and if you feel into the energy of all that, what does that feel like in your body? Just allow yourself to feel into the energy and how much of that is a resistance to change? Because that is one of the major causes of suffering, is wishing for things to be different. And what we have right now is what is in front of us. So rather than looking back, regretting what else we could have done, right now is a time to acknowledge what is so that we can actually move forward without being disempowered. So, as as I honor each one of you, every heart that's listening in to this message, I want to inspire you to believe that this outcome happened to allow a catalyst for greater awakening in our world, a catalyst for healing within each one of us, to bring up further whatever is coming up, whether it's fear, anxiety, disbelief, regret, whatever the feeling is. And if you'd like to drop in the chat, what are the emotions that are coming up for you? And at this time, I'm just going to send a little poll out. So if you could go ahead and answer this question. There's actually two questions there. And just rate yourself. How are you feeling today? That's the first question. How are you feeling today? What are the emotions that are coming up? So, first of all, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being I am lit up, I am feeling extraordinary. I I know that everything is all happening in the highest and best. And then 0 being I've lost complete faith and I am struggling. So I did this a couple days ago. We had a lot of 4 and 5s to start with, and consistent at the end was a 9. So just stay with me and we'll do a breathwork session after we're done here. Unfortunately, I can't record that part of it for YouTube, so I will need to just have this first part, which is a talk, and hopefully you'll gain some wisdom. You can turn some of those wounds into wisdom and some pain into purpose to help propel and create momentum forward. So this is an opportunity. All problems are opportunities for growth, for a greater outcome, for awakening. And today I want you to consider If you feel into the emotions that are coming up for you, can you feel into any time in the past where you felt something similar? So this might be feeling like a Groundhog Day from 2016. And whether you're on either side, of, and I know there's a great divide in our world, in our nation. But no matter what side you're on, I just want you to come from a space of compassion, compassion for yourself and compassion for everybody else out there. Whether you were a Trump supporter, have compassion for half of the country that is grieving right now. If you are a Kamala Harris supporter, my heart is with you. I know that there was so much hope that was feeling as though we were able to come together. And we were hoping to bring everybody together. But what happens is not everybody is on the same page. Not everybody, not one other person in this world is on the same journey as you. And so that journey can feel overwhelming at times and not addressing the emotions that are coming through. It is my belief through all my holistic and energy work training that anything that's happening within the body has an origin with an emotional cause that hasn't been witnessed or felt. And so it had to embed itself in the suppression within the body. And then every time you feel yourself getting triggered, it awakens that part of you to maybe niggle you just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And it may feel like dis-ease in your body. You may have physical things that are happening because there's things that you have not wanted to address, you have not wanted to take a closer look at. And it's what's required. So there really isn't an easy way, and it doesn't have to be difficult, and it doesn't have to take a long time, but it does have to take a conscious choice to say, I'm feeling something here. And if it's grief, I encourage you to cry. Let out those sacred tears. And tears, scientifically, they've studied tears. And under a microscope, tears of anger are different than tears of fear or tears of joy. Scientifically, under a microscope, they all look very different. And I wonder how amazing our body is, that it's giving us the gift of bringing stuff up to the surface so that it can come up and out rather than continuing to be stuffed down. Because if we continue to stuff stuff down, there's a resistance there. We're not in the flow of life. And it takes a lot of energy. If you feel exhausted, if you feel burned out, it takes a lot of energy to keep pushing it down and pushing it down. And what it really needs is the space for it to come up, through, and out. So in the somatic breath work, we'll be working with that. And then creating that space gives you an enormous opportunity to ask, what is it that I want to bring back in? What is it that I want to embody? Once we purge the pain, there's room for purpose to grow. And underneath every wound, there's a gift. When you clear the wounds, there's wisdom, there's growth within that. And so often, what happens is if we get triggered, we find ourselves getting active. And so there's an activation of the ego. So the ego is the survival program. And that is when we were young, we had to be very diligent about creating safety in our environment. So we may have learned that being the victim of a circumstance, situation, a person brought people to feel sorry for us. Or it may have caused us to go into isolation where we felt safe. Or feeling into the environment, you may have felt anger or rage, and you may have realized that you needed to run away in order to stay safe. Again, that isolation. Or you needed to defend and attack because someone was attacking you. And if that happened to you, I'm so sorry because that never should have happened. And sometimes what that looks like is it looks like bullying. It looks like your inner child is acting out because it wants to be seen, it wants to be witnessed, it wants to know that it's safe and that you're okay and that you are loved. And what all of this is bringing us to is the realization that only you can be that. Because at several points in your life, if you're anything like me, I can remember many times of incidents in my growing up years where I didn't have someone that felt like they had my back as an adult. And so I spent a lot of time alone. And what I've come to understand, and I hope to fast track this for every person that's listening to this, because you don't have to live in that misery, the depression, the anxiousness. You don't have to live there. It may be your comfort zone, it may be where you feel safe right now, but the walls that you've put up and built are only keeping you from other people being able to come in that can actually nurture and love you. But that first step is really learning how to love yourself. And you may say, I've been hearing about self-love and I don't get it. I don't understand. Or maybe you feel like you love yourself and but you're still having all of this stuff showing up, all of the emotions of fear and anxiety and anger and helplessness, heartbreak, grief. And what I've learned is that in life there's a lot of situations where it is win or lose, where there's always a winner or a loser. And I can tell you I've been on the losing end since I was a little girl. I was always the last one coming in a race. I was always the last one that was picked for teams. See, that's a pattern. It's a pattern that I had to learn to ask that little Jackie within me, sweetheart, how are you? What are you feeling? What does that make you feel like? And then the realization is that that was part of my growth. I grew so much. And maybe that was a mechanism coming in last, was I didn't have to be around a whole lot of other people. I just let everybody pass me by. And I used to think I didn't have a competitive bone in my body, but it's been pointed out that that's simply not true. So, how many things do you think are true about yourself that simply aren't true? You try to protect yourself by putting a mask on, to not be seen, to not be heard, because you're afraid if somebody saw the real you or heard the real you, they wouldn't want to be around you. I can tell you if they don't want to be around you, then they're not meant to. And not to take it personally, because everything is neutral. Every experience is neutral. And sometimes we've been hurt. Sometimes we've been hurt very, very badly. There's an abandonment wound that I know many of us carry. And sometimes that started way, way back in our very early, early years. And if that's you, I am very, very sorry. That never should have happened. The people that were meant to, you were born into a family to care for you. And if you felt like they weren't there for you, if they made you feel unseen, if they made you feel like you couldn't state your wants or needs, I'm sorry. If they made you feel alone, if they did things that made you feel as though in order to be loved, you needed to be good all the time, I'm so sorry. Because it's not about being good, because that just turns us into chameleons who feel like we have to conform all the time and people please in order to be liked and loved and approved of and validated. And that's not a way to live. And it stamps down, tampers down the parts of you that if you remember back as a child, can you remember being playful, being curious? What did that feel like? It's a feeling of wonderment for me. I remember being a little girl and I swore that I could fly. I swore that I could fly. And I know that sounds just absolutely silly, doesn't it? But as we continue to look at science and neurology, looking at the neural pathways of the brain, looking at epigenetics and how our environment influences who we become, what we believe, what if? What if there was a part in you that was so magical that was so tuned in? And for me, I've had experiences in meditation where I feel like I am out of my body and I'm flying. So why would it feel different as a child who was tapped in and tuned in and turned on to life and joy to not feel that? So today I want to give you hope, hope for recovering part of you that may feel really lost. You may have felt for a long time, who am I? You may have looked in the mirror and looked at the person looking back at you and said, I don't even know myself anymore. And if that's you, I can relate. I remember suffering with depression. I had depression beginning back when I was a teenager. And I had depression diagnosis when I was in my 20s. And I was under a therapist's care for 7 years. And it was kind of crazy because I would always make him laugh. He'd be like, we need to get you up on stage. And I'd be like, this is my life. Like, I'm not laughing here. I'm like depressed. What the hell? But sometimes we need to learn to laugh at ourselves. Because what if everything that you've been through, every everything you think about the world and how it might be going to hell in a handbasket. What if what was actually happening was it was a catalyst for you to wake up, for you to discover a greater truth that's been underneath everything that you've been holding on to for so long? You may be remembering abuse patterns from family, from people that were supposed to love you. It could have been narcissistic abuse, where you were made to feel that you were not good enough and that you'd never measure up, or you felt gaslit, having people tell you things and then having them change their mind and making you believe that you're crazy. If that happened to you, I'm I'm very sorry. For a second there, I was going to say I'm crazy, and yeah, you know what? I claim my weirdness. I am, if normal is wanting to take a look at the world and have it be focused on greed and have it be focused on how do we make the most money out of this? I'm not I'm not in alignment. What I am in alignment is helping you to wake up, helping you to see that whatever's happened in the past has been a catalyst. So it's not just about this election. This election is one catalyst and helping a fraction of humanity to start waking up and saying, what's happening here? How could this be? And then allow it to be a catalyst to help you to wake up to what may be going on inside of your body, to what might be calling you to heal. Because I do believe that we are all just walking each other home. And I believe that we are in a place within consciousness, within the collective field of energy, where there's some pretty wonderful things that are happening, where there is a great amount of alignment, and where we are being called to bring our light into the forefront, because it's your light that casts out the shadow. It's your light that can ignite others' lights, to be there, to be a compassionate witness for someone else that's hurting, for someone else that's questioning, and to help them remember who they are. In one of the leadership programs I attended, it felt, it almost felt abusive actually, but it was an attempt to get us to realize what we want in life and to actually acknowledge the gift of life, to acknowledge that you deserve to be alive. Because how many times do you put somebody else in front of you to make sure their needs are cared for, to make sure that they feel okay? And sometimes at the cost of even your own energy, of you feeling okay, of making your well-being your priority. And instead, you're putting it to the side. You get to make you your priority, because unless you fill yourself up to overflow and then give from that overflow, you'll keep running on empty. You'll keep feeling depleted. You'll keep feeling exhausted and burned out. And it's a gift to actually start to acknowledge what's happening, with you and in our world so that you can regain your power, your passion, and your purpose for life. That's the goal. And start acknowledging where those survival programs came from. Start looking a little bit deeper at the shadow, what you're feeling under the surface. In our world, I know a lot of people turn to different types of substances, whether that's alcohol, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's marijuana, whether it's something harder. I managed a sober living home for young women battling addiction. And I can tell you, I witnessed the battle of light and dark constantly. There was there was a way that many felt that they had to be out of integrity with themselves, that they had to lie in order to be taken care of. Being out of integrity with your heart, with your soul, that is feeding into the darkness. So just imagine the old cartoon when we were young. We had a little angel on one shoulder and a little devil on the other. The little angel would tell you, you are loved. You are so precious. And the little devil would give you all of the things that were not good enough about you, that you didn't matter, that this person is trying to hurt you, or whatever the story might be. And it's totally, totally up to you. Or that I need to lie to get what I want. That was a big one in recovery. And the thing was, they never had to lie to me. But when I found out that they weren't being honest, it made me start to look at them in a different way. It made me feel like I couldn't trust them, which was a pattern that I learned as a little girl, that I couldn't trust people to have my back, and that I had to defend and attack whenever I could, or become a victim or run away, mostly running away, or conforming and chameleoning. That was another way that I created safety. So think about when you were young, which of those did you have to do in order to make your environment safe? Did you have to not be seen and heard and hide and run away? Were you the victim of the stories of other people's actions? Or did you defend and attack because it's the only thing you knew to be safe? That space within you is still alive. And every time you notice a trigger coming up, if you can become aware of the trigger and in the moment say, oh, you're doing such a good job. You're doing such a good job, but I got this. I got this. And every time that trigger comes up, acknowledge yourself. Acknowledge yourself for noticing, for witnessing what was happening in the moment. And then ask, what is this here to teach me? Because we're all growing. We're either growing or we're dying. That's the option. So, are you going to choose to grow, or are you going to just start to shrivel? The longest journey that we will ever take is the 18 inches from the head to the heart. And that is where all the magic happens is getting these into coherence. We've been entrained with programs. So as we're in our young formative years, we are in a brainwave state that's equivalent of hypnosis. We're learning how we need to behave in order to be safe. But now we're not 3 years old or 5 years old. Now you're an adult. And now you get to take self-agency, to be self-responsible, having the ability to respond so that you can create your own inner safety, your own inner peace. And that is the foundation for self-love. And sometimes it's really hard for people to get there. So I'm going to give you a little thought process to consider. Do you remember being a small child and finding a stray animal or an animal that you felt was helpless or that needed a home or that had a broken wing or a broken leg or in any other way you felt needed your support? And you tried your hardest. You did what you needed to do in that moment in order to try to help. I remember doing this with the cat, a little tiny kitten at my aunt's house. And I used to stay at my aunt's house during some of the summers when I was growing up. And this little cat, my cousin and I were adventuring and somehow came across this tiny little kitten and we realized it had fleas and we wanted it to be okay. It was just this tiny pitiful little tiny kitten. And so we took it into the bathroom and we started giving it a bath. And my auntie came in and she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "You need to get that cat out of the house right now," because she was afraid of what her husband would say. She was afraid that we would get in trouble. She was afraid that that would not be approved of, and we needed to rectify this right now. So sometimes we're like that animal, like that helpless little animal that is needing love, that's needing care, and we keep looking outside of ourselves for it. And I can tell you that's going to create some triggers. That will create some triggers for you and potentially for the people in your life. And that's where self-agency comes in. Self-agency is about taking self-responsibility, being able to respond to create that safety within yourself. And what that looks like is it could be in just any moment that you're feeling unsafe, you're feeling scared, that you wrap your arms around yourself and say, "It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe and I love you. I'm never going to leave you. I'm always here for you." It's what we always wanted to hear from the people that we counted on to take care of us, to love us, that we didn't have. And it's been guiding us to come home to our heart, to create that internal safety, to be that person, that loving adult that you always wanted someone else to be. You know, we've been indoctrinated into Disney movies, believing in princesses and princes. And what I can tell you is the only royalty that we can truly count on is knowing without a shadow of a doubt that I am and you are the daughter or the son of the Most High King. Take that in. Take that in. If you are the daughter or the son of the Creator, of the Most High, why do you discount yourself? Why do you not believe that you get to be a priority in your life? Why do you believe that you're not worthy to receive, allow people to take advantage of you, and then feel helpless or heartbroken or grief over the results or feeling alone? Isolation is one thing. With division in our world, much of what we've seen through this election, the division of one against another, I'd like to share with you that I I fully believe I fully believe that when we divide one against another or we feel divided within ourselves, some people have a very disconnected view about who they are or who other people are, and that judgment is a mechanism of wounding. It creates and inflicts pain. So within myself, when I feel into a pronoun that would be most appropriate for me, it's me and we. Me. I am sovereign and have self-agency over my body. I am me. I have the ability to make my well-being and safety my priority. It's up to me. And we are connected. We are all interconnected. We are all in this together. We get to learn how to be and stand in unwavering love for ourselves and for one another. Everybody's on their journey, and a lot of people are wounded. A lot of people are hurt. One of the major causes of addiction is suffering, unhealed trauma. There is, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And in that, it talks about how everything is stored in the body. Every experience that we have is stored in the body that we haven't met and dealt with, that we haven't fully witnessed. It doesn't mean you need somebody else to witness you. You can fully show up and witness yourself. But it sure is helpful when you have a compassionate witness, someone that's not going to judge you, someone that's going to be able to hold the space for you and say, "It's okay, sweetheart. I love you and you're safe." If you don't have that, you get to learn to be that for you. This life is a gift. This experience of being alive in our world right now, even though everything that's happening in our country and around the world, it's a gift to be alive right now. And we're being pushed into waking up. And what if this is the greatest thing that could ever happen so that we can all learn to heal the trauma within ourselves. We have a critical problem with homelessness. My theory is if you don't know your way home here, it's very difficult to create it in the physical world. And if people are running patterns of unworthiness, if you look at the inflation rates of housing costs, of groceries, it doesn't take long to realize that you need to truly dig deep. If you are suffering and have an unmet trauma, it's going to be really difficult, especially if you're alone. If you feel alone in the world, it's going to be really difficult to survive. And that's why people are in survival mode. Having people around you that you can trust means that they have to be able to trust you, that you are in integrity with who you know yourself to be. So with that, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to dive deeper. And know that I'm here for you. If you'd like to schedule a call with me, just reach out. I am always here. I was blessed that one of my former recovery clients reached out and said, Jacqueline, what do you do when you just feel so resentful? Like, I don't even know where to start with forgiveness. And I reminded her of the quote, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Let's not do that here because it's only going to cause further dis-ease in your body, mind, and spirit, greater disconnection within yourself and within the world and within our nation. We don't need further disconnection or division or to go into isolation. What we really need is to begin to trust one another, to love one another, to be compassionate about where you are and where the person that's on the other side of the fence is, and realize the choice that they made was the one that they felt was the best choice for whatever reason, for their family, for their own safety. But it's not about living in survival mode. It's about learning to thrive. It's about learning to heal what causes us to go into survival mode so that you can step forward and stand powerfully in your life. Like I said, with power, passion, and purpose. And you can fully embody who you came to this world to be. And that's what I want to see for everybody. I would love to see that for everybody. And it's about being connected to the light within you, within every cell of your body. So with that, I want to go ahead and offer you a little guided meditation, a guided meditation of safety, knowing that it's not about being, every circumstance that we have calls us to be more and more resilient. And I've had that call, I've had that rug ripped out from under me more times that I could possibly even remember. And I know how painful that is. And if that happened to you or you're in the midst of that, and I know this election can feel a lot like that. You felt very confident that it was going to go one way, and then all of a sudden you just are in disbelief and shock. So now what? Now we come back into the body, we get present, and we ignite in the trillions of cells in your body a greater knowing of the presence of love that's within you, that every cell, every molecule, every cell is made up of molecules and atoms. And science tells us it's like 99% space. So think into what that means. If every cell, every skin cell that looks so solid, your hair, this table, this computer, feels so solid, but if everything is made up of mostly space, what does that what does that really mean? What's taking up all of that space in your body? Let's take a moment. You can go ahead and close your eyes if you'd like. Have your feet firmly on the floor, or you can lay down if you'd like. And maybe place your hands on your heart and breathe into your heart. Feel into your heart as it's the echo chamber of your soul. It is where love resides, where safety grows. Coming home to your heart is about cultivating safety and inner peace, knowing love. So take some breaths in and breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, making your out breath longer than your in breath. This is a regulation breath for your nervous system. It's a way to self-regulate. Maybe when you feel anxious, you find yourself being triggered and feeling scared. You find yourself feeling depressed or maybe even angry. Remember, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And tune into your heartbeat. You may be able to feel it right now, or maybe you can't feel it, but it's there, it's under the surface. Feel into the heartbeat, your heartbeat, pumping blood and oxygen through your veins and arteries, igniting the life force within you that keeps your heart beating, keeps your blood moving through your veins, keeps your air moving through your lungs, that keeps your nervous system either on alert or in a relaxed state. Feel into your heart and feel into cultivating safety. What does safety feel like in your heart? What does it feel like to feel safe in your body? Can you remember a time when you felt the safest that you've ever felt in your life? And allow that feeling to move into your heart and expand. And that feeling becoming bigger and bigger inside of you. That feeling of safety growing. connecting to a space of love that you're cultivating, knowing that you are loved. You are the daughter or son of the Most High King, the Creator, God, love. If God is love and you are a vessel of God, of love, and knowing the kingdom of heaven is within you, feel into your body to where you may feel a disruption from that. The kingdom of heaven is within you. What are you feeling? Can you feel the kingdom of heaven within you? Your body is a vessel of love, a vessel of God within you. Breathe into that. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and you are a daughter or son of the Most High King. You are so worthy of love, of loving yourself, of trusting yourself, of honoring yourself. You are so worthy and deserving of love, of being the source of approving of who you truly are, of connecting you to your soul rather than trying to put on another mask to make everybody else okay or conform to fit in to what feels like normal or fit in to be liked. Tune into your heart and see yourself. Have compassion and remember being playful. Remember being curious. What did it feel like to be curious? Be curious. What are you feeling? What makes you feel playful? Is it turning on music and dancing? Is it playing a game, or is it taking a hot bath or reading a book? Is it going for a walk or a hike in nature? Tune into what connects you to your authentic truth of what lights you up. And that playful curiosity into that space of wonderment. Do you remember being excited? Do you remember being joyfully excited? Remember a time in your life where you felt joyfully excited? Do you remember a certain Christmas, possibly? One Christmas in your life where you felt true joy? Imagine what it was like to wake up excited for the day. And feel into your heart and ask, who did I come here to be? And listen to your heart. Feel into your heart, and is there anything that needs to be witnessed? Any sadness, any grief from loss? It could be the loss of this election, it could be the loss of a loved one. Feel into what is ready to be felt. And give yourself a moment to give yourself permission to feel. You don't have to numb yourself anymore. You don't have to continue suffering. This is a moment where you can acknowledge the pain. This is a moment where you can let yourself know it's okay, sweetheart. You're safe. I love you. It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe and I love you. And I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for the pain that was inflicted on you, the way that that made you feel, the way that made you run away, the way that made you have to pretend you were someone that you weren't in order to be approved of. You are so loved. And give that to yourself right now in this moment. You are so loved. You are never alone. You are never alone. Feeling your feet, feeling the connection to the earth, feeling the way that it holds you so safely. Feeling into the energy of the earth and pulling any energy up through your legs of any of the earth's energy that would like to be a contribution to you in this moment. Pull that up to your heart. Move that energy all the way up to the top of your head. And knowing you are the daughter or son of the Most High King, connect in to the heavenly realm. The kingdom of heaven is within you and all around you. Pull in the energy from the Most High King, the one that says, you are so worthy of being loved. You deserve to be loved and treated with kindness, honor, and respect. You deserve to take up space in this world and expand that space into every cell of your body. Ignite greater space within you to show up, to be seen, to be heard, to know what you want, to know what you need, and to trust. When you connect to this space within you, you are the center point between heaven and earth, and you are so loved by both. Breathe into that love and help it connect to your love within yourself, showing you the gift of you. Feel the warmth of that safety. And just breathe for a moment. Maybe feeling your fingers, if they're on your heart, feeling the heartbeat, feeling the way that your feet feel on the floor, feeling the way you're sitting or laying, feeling the gift of you present in this moment with a collective field of energy that's here to support you. You are never alone. You are never alone. And this is a collective field of energy that is always connected, always united in love. When you come from this space, you are united in love, and you are never alone. Take a few deep breaths. You can bring your hands into your lap. And when you're ready, go ahead and wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers and come back to this moment. Imagining being clean and clear, aligned with Source in every cell of your body. Letting go, let it go, whatever resistance you're feeling. And just be present with the space. There's a lot of creative energy in the space. And whenever you need to, you can come back here at any time. Just close your eyes, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and feel into the energy. Feel into the gift of the waters in your body, the gift of the purification of those waters in your body. The world, as we see it, is a reflection of our body. And we're cleaning up those waters within ourselves and projecting that wind to the world. Releasing any resistance, releasing any toxic emotions, any toxic energy, and feeling greater freedom in your body. Maybe move your shoulders, roll your shoulders back. How would you sit if you were the daughter or the son of the Most High King? How would you stand? How would you walk? How would you know your greatness within you to be the soul that came into this world for a divine purpose? And begin to just breathe that purpose into your heart. Breathe it into your body, breathe it into your knowing, and ask yourself, dear heart, dear soul, do you have a message for me? Dear heart, dear soul, what is it that you want me to know? Dear heart, dear soul, who did I come to this world to be? You are so loved. You are so loved and you are so precious. You are safe and you are loved. And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and maybe rub your legs with your hands and wiggle your fingers, maybe open your eyes and come back to this moment. Clean and clear, aligned with Source, connecting to the gifts of you and the interconnection of the tapestry that we are weaving together by being interconnected as the collective energy. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then I'll allow anybody to share what's coming up for you before we start the breath work. I want to thank any of you who have listened through this session. Know that you matter. Know that you were born perfect in the image and likeness of God. So why is it that we continue to discount ourselves or one another? Let's choose to see ourselves and one another in the highest and best, and hold hold our country and our world in a space of just breathing into the love and expanding that love into our world, and knowing that we are holding the highest and best outcome for solutions, for working together, for human rights to be upheld, for dignity for everyone, and for healing of suffering on our planet. It's in our hands, and it starts right here. With so much love from my heart to yours. I'm Jacqueline Bamanek with Vibrational Energy Solutions. Wishing you a beautiful day, sending so much love from me to you. Make it a great day. Bye for now.